Hey guys, what's going on? It's Giga here. I literally just recorded the entire video and realized that the video was not actually working. So here we are again. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into it. Today's theme or today's squad identity is revolving around 35k or less. That's the whole idea. So if we can keep that or maintain that, you let me know. If you think we go over, you let me know. I'm also curious to think of what you guys think about with this particular squad. I think that it's a squad that's usable day one. I wouldn't be surprised if you see something like that. Thank you guys for clicking on the video. Please consider liking or subscribing to the channel. I would very much appreciate it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get right into it. Our first thing that we need to do is we actually need to change the formation to, oh gosh, to the 3-4-2-1. And we're gonna start from the bottom. Our first, oh gosh, okay, we're just gonna leave it like that. There we go. That's fine. That's fine. We'll leave it like that. Our first player is actually going to be none other than Josie Sa, who's going to be in goal. Which, you know, you're probably like, okay, we're doing a Prem team. Until you see ourselves this second player, who we go by the name of Saint Juste, who, if anyone who's played FIFA 22 knows, super pacey. Not like the end tier game, player, but is awesomely meta in the beginning because of the pace. And if the meta has anything to do with pace, he'll do exceptionally. I won't be surprised if he gets downgraded a little bit this year, but still, regardless, I think he'll be very pacey and very good, especially on day one. If there is a player on the team that's gonna cost a few thousand coins, it's gonna be this card. He may be 10k the first day or something. But after that, I think he's going to be very cheap. 3, 4, 5,000 coins, something like that. And then our second player is very similar, but we're actually jumping to a third league, believe it or not, which is Timber, which gives you guys this idea of this Dutch linkage, if you will. Very similar to Saint Just. I think that, you're going to see where this is going. I think he's a good card. I think he'll be like 3, 4k at most. So altogether so far, I'm hopefully looking at like 15k, something like that. Our third defender, who I think will only be a few thousand coins because no one's really going to use him, is actually Pepe, who's quite the legend at this point. So I think he's going to be really good, especially in the beginning of the year, because his pace is probably going to get shot down to like 75, but he'll still be usable. And for 3 center backs, I feel like these pair up pretty well. Now we've got ourselves a bunch of different leagues with a bunch of different nations. Well, 2 different nations. And from there, this is where we're going to get some definition to the squad. And that's going to start out with
my old friend,
Steven Bergwijn, who was on Spurs, which is why I said we knew him. He, I think, is going to be a card that's pretty usable in the beginning of the year, and it's going to be a great left mid. I think that a lot of people are going to sleep on him because he's only an 80 rated, potentially even going down to like a 78 rated, but he'll probably still have 80 pace, 80 dribblings, 75 shooting, and then 70 something passing. And so because of that, again, not the best card, but usable for sure. And he actually will go next to, and this is where I messed up at the first video. Basically, so real quick, I had Pizzi and Gedson Fernandez, and I thought that these two were gonna be like just the perfect linkage right there, until I realized that Pizzi doesn't play for Benfica anymore, and neither does Fernandez. So we put both of those on the bench. Instead, what we ended up doing was we're putting Uribe in here, who I think might actually go up to an 80 and get a small boost in some areas, along with this guy, Mateus Nunez. And so we'll put him right there. I think that he's not the best, center mid, blah, blah, blah. But I think that for now, especially day one, he's a goalie. He doesn't really help us. Day one, I think that it does the trick and he'll get by. And that's kind of the main point. I don't think he's going to be like any specifically better. Uribe will hold his own water. I think he'll be okay. But so for links, he does the trick. And so that's all we're really looking for at the moment. So going to our right mid now, similar to Bergwijn, we're going to Berghuis. And so because of that, we got ourselves a right mid. Thank you very much. So very similar to Bergwijn. I think that he might even be that like Tadic, that 83 rated sort of player that people don't talk about too much. I don't know if he'll be 83 rated. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays 81 or 80 rated. But he did have some good cards last year. I think he had a few informs, if I remember correctly. That could be totally wrong, but let's say he has a few informs. So I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be fine. Then we're going up to our front 3, and this is where we're going to swap back to the whole Portuguese link idea. And we're going to start with Gonçalo Oh, I totally butchered that spelling. Gonzalo Guedes. He is actually on Wolverhampton, which is part of where this is getting a little confusing. He will perfect link with Josie Saw. I think that because of his links, he does well. I think that his stats are pretty meta, especially for the beginning of the year. And I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes an 82. He'll probably stay in 81. I think that his card will be relatively cheap still, 3K, 4K, something like that. Other than Timber and St. Just, I really don't think any of these guys are going to be over 5K. And so because of that, that will lead right next to our other player who's going by the name of Daniel Potence. There we go, and he will be a striker. A striker.
I hope you can hit the target better than I do.
So then our final player is actually going to be Rafa, and so he's from Benfica. Altogether, I think that the one player that's going to be slept on the most is this Rafa card. I think that he's going to be really, really cheap. So I think we're looking at like 3K, 2K, so 5, and then in total maybe like 8, 10, 12 or 13, 14, 16. Let's call it 8K in the beginning. So we said 16, 24, maybe like 30 here, and then like 33 and 32. So I actually think this could be right around a 35K squad, like I was saying. The big person that needs to be upgraded first is probably this Nunez card. To what he could be upgraded to is a fantastic question. I'd have to look into it, to be honest. But I would love to do more squads like this where it's cheap squads with different leagues, different nations, good ideas like that, especially for starter squads when everyone's trying to look for that sort of stuff. So let me know what you guys think. I very much appreciate all your support. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.